Hi, hello everyone. So we are now in 24th episode or week 24 or 24th week of this .NET weekly journey. So we are going to continue to discuss .NET 9 breaking change, and I'll try to provide you some samples about that. And also this week is also the last week I'm going to bring you weekly journey video, and I also have announcement which I'm going to tell you later after I demo the breaking change. So this video is also an epilogue, meaning that it's a closing because next week and until the end of December will be rather a bit quiet because I'm going to enjoy my end of year holiday. As some of you might know that I've been a freelance since July. So let's start. Okay, again, this is me. I'm based in Indonesia, and this is my LinkedIn, or you can search using my name here on LinkedIn. And this is my GitHub ID. I'm also a member of .NET Foundation Open Source Project Onboarding Committee, and we deal or we help all of the open source project. This is OSS open source project that use .NET or run on top of .NET, and we help you with the support such as CI/CD running on Azure DevOps. You can ping me on GitHub as well. This is the plan update so far. We are now in the last point, discuss breaking chains, and this is also the last point in this week. This is also last week in December 2024. Okay, in this episode, we are going to discuss breaking changes in .NET 9 and also announcement. So let's recap. .NET 9 was released on .NET Conf 2024 on 12th of November. It is having an odd major version, meaning that it will be STS release with support time frame of 1.5 years compared to .NET 8 and the upcoming .NET 9. Oh, sorry, 10. Yeah, it's supposed to. The next one is .NET 10. Will have support time frame of 3 years. The SDK version is 9.0.100, and the latest one of .NET 9 is 9011. Visual Studio support starts since Visual Studio 2022 17.12.0, and Mac iOS, Android, Mac OS, and so on support available since 12 November, but not all. Especially if you are going to use Linux, for example, that will take about 2 or 3 days later to have official support. For example, the official support in Ubuntu that support .NET starts from version 24.04, and this is the LTS if I'm not mistaken. And it is recommended to install via Snap. Other than that, OpenSUSE lib 15, and I recommend you to install it on at least OpenSUSE 15.5, and then you can install the .NET SDK. As we have discussed in previous video, we have categories of breaking change in .NET 9. The first one is binary incompatible. It says when run against new runtime component, existing binaries might encounter a breaking change in behavior such as failure to load or execute, and if so, require compilation. As I have noted here, this is a very high risk breaking changes. The effect is mostly subtle since it is not known at compile time. And then we have source incompatible. When recompile using the new SDK or component to target new runtime, session source code may require source changes to compile successfully. Yes, this also means, and I should also emphasize in the last video, of course, this also means that you may find breaking compilation. Again, if you fail to compile, that is the best thing that happened instead of having a failure during runtime. It is also the riskiest kind of breaking change because the effect is subtle but not some. Because source incompatible means that you may fail during runtime, almost most of the time, but also you may fail during compile time. Why I say this one is the riskiest kind because it deals with the new SDK or component or the runtime. It's something that most people are not aware, unfortunately. And then we have behavioral change. Existing code and binaries may behave differently at runtime. If the new behavior is undesirable, existing code would need to be updated and recompiled. This is also a risky breaking change, but it is the clearest kind of, or the, I think, based on my own perspective, it is also the easiest change to understand because it is easier to spot about behavioral change than binary incompatible. Some of the problem can be shown at compile time, as long as you pay attention on the warning, of course. And the notable behavior change I discussed in this video is the removal of BinaryFormatter class. And the second one, creating type of array system void, is I think is clear enough, and I think I also don't have to demo this one. The next one is the subtle one. .NET Restore always audit transitive packages. This is enabled by default in .NET 9.0.1.0.0, but on the 9.0.1.1, it is not enabled by default, meaning that the audit is still there. So, but yeah, this is slightly misleading. I will also correct this one. The audit is always running, but all of the related, you know, offending nuget package will be also audited, as you will see in the demo. Okay, now let's talk about the BinaryFormatter and .NET NuGet audit. So I have reinstalled the 9.0.1.0.0 SDK to show you the differences. And as you have followed in my previous video, right now the latest SDK of the release.NET SDK is 9.0.1.1. I said release because it doesn't have any -rc or preview or anything else. So the latest release that I have now in my machine is 9.0.1.1. And this comes with the Visual Studio update of 17.12.3 as I have mentioned in the previous video as well. Now let's start Visual Studio. Is something that I have already done or created. And here we have .NET 9 and also .NET 8, so it has a different target. But what I'm trying to say is this solution is using 9.0.1.1 SDK. Why? Because it has global JSON set. So this is the folder of that solution, and as you can see here, we have global JSON. And if we look at the content of this guy, global JSON, we see that it points to use 9.0.1.1. And I just, brought forward to use latest feature. So by default, in .NET 9, 9.0.1.0.0, it will always audit the NuGet package. So I deliberately add this one. That would be the easiest one, but the complex one, I think I'm going to start from binary formatter usage. So this is .NET 9 and this is .NET 8. So in .NET 9, as you see, it already has some error because this sys lib 0011 is treated as error by default. So if you look at that and the source code, you see that it is treated as an error. This is nice. I've just realized now, it has a strike. If we compile this guy, you don't have to worry about the sample. I will push my sample here on my repo, but it is just very simple sample, just to demonstrate that even during compile time, you cannot, have this binary formatter. So if I compile this guy, console binary formatter, I will see that I have many errors as long as you use binary formatter, like this line, also this line because I have two references, and this line. So total will be 4. I can also use other kinds of serializer, deserializer, such as the Newtonsoft, or using the built-in JSON in system.text.json, of course. But for the sake of historical reason, this is insecure because it has proven even in the old .NET framework world, mostly this is dangerous because it is unsecure and also unsafe to use. There is a possibility that you use this to do many things nasty, such as executing code on your remote target that runs this code, for example, especially in a scenario that you have some kind of a HTTP server or wherever that provide as a server. It can be like you have a online, for example, FTP that also can be the target of this security vulnerability. So of course, this will run if you, let's say, target lesser version of .NET, such as .NET 5, .NET Core 3031. Now you cannot do that. Previously, before .NET 8 is just a warning. So in .NET 8, it is, I think, since .NET 8 is set as an error, and even in the .NET 9, it will be removed. But it is still there. So let's try to dig in. Go to definition. I'm gonna do that. If I just go to definition here, yeah. So utilize from this. Okay, it doesn't have any. Okay, it doesn't have any implementation at all. And it says here obsolescence when your format, great. Uh, seems to me this is the source code, right? Okay, looks like, yeah, it's empty. Yeah. Okay, this is empty. As we have discussed on the previous videos, this is part of the breaking change, and it is under behavioral change. If we look at the serialization topic, so binary formatter always throws. And if you open this one, okay, which one? Binary formatter always throws. Yeah. The reason of change is insecure format and can cause many security bugs. You will see more context if you follow the historical reason going back further, of course. For example, in this blog, where is it? Not this one, I think, or in this documentation. We have here binary formatter migration guide. So let's go to the overview. It says here again, we strongly recommend against using binary formatter due to associated security risks and assisting users should migrate away. Okay, let's look at this security risk link. Okay, still in this page. We have here the CVE or CWE link, deserialization of untrusted data. It was included in the initial release of .NET Framework. So .NET Framework 1.0 has this guy. And actually, this binary formatter is also part of .NET Remoting at that time. Then Microsoft recommend us to use WCF since .NET 3.0 because it is safer. Hang on. Yeah, it says here migrate from not using non-remoting. It says here migrate to not use binary format, which is the unRBF payload. And other than that, well, okay, where is the suggestion to use WCF? Here we are. We have data contract selection. It's part of the WCF. And this is also nicely mentioned that there is this guy, this YSO serial.net, is a sample of what kind of or attacks that utilize binary formatter. I'm not going to demo this one because it may jeopardize my machine as well. But you can see in here. Oh, okay, this one in here. So you'll see that having this kind of as a request response, it can execute the code on your server. So you can try to run calc or the calculator or the Windows calculator. I'll give you the link on the video description after this. And also, there's also continuation of going back further why the serialization of binary formatter can be dangerous. So the title is supposed to be any kinds of serialization, deserialization using binary formatter is very, very dangerous and also insecure. Now, it is also being marked as an error in .NET. So if I compile this guy, you see it has the same 4 references. I filter this as the current project, so will only display the errors and warning on the project that I'm currently in or in session, like the one that I'm click this one. And I'm using the same code just to demo to you that you still cannot do that. Let's say if you still want to use this, I suggest you to isolate this and clearly put the code that still uses binary formatter outside the same project that you already have, because all of the code samples and security documentation, even the CVE description is already clear and it has been there since I think .NET 6 or .NET 5 Microsoft is already uh, discussing this as don't try to use this binary formatter anymore. Since this is also related to remoting, you will see that there are some problems related to it. And okay, there is also a blog post that says viewstate. Viewstate is also uh, coming from .NET Framework. It is a little bit similar to the way as the binary formatter works, but again, we should not worry about it as long as you are using .NET Core, because this is only available on .NET Framework. You remember that viewstate is only available on .NET Framework if you use webform. And if you wonder who is this guy, Levi Broderick is one of the one of the main developer of .NET Core, especially specializing on system.io, and also focusing on serialization, deserialization. But this guy is also often helps in the .NET API review. If you follow .NET Foundation channel, you'll see that they usually have about weekly meeting to discuss .NET API review. And I think last week is the last week of they discuss, because they are going to have holiday as well. Okay, I will put this link on the description as well, because this is very, very risky. All of the description and the list of the risks is already described here nicely. And if you even try to read the payload, there is a safer way. And if just reading it, there is a new nuget package, system.formats.nrpf. NRPF again is net remoting binary formatter. So let's look at this guy. I'm not going to suggest to try to use this one, because I already moved from binary formatter. But for you, if you want to use this, if you just want to read the payload, you can use this guy, this NBF decoder. It means that you can read payloads, only read. There's also some kind of tips to identify an RPF payload, and also how to safely read. I'll try to put the link also in the video description as well. Basically, there are alternatives, like we have here migrate to system text JSON, data contract serializer. This is the one that is used by WCF, of course. And it is also, of course, it is used by .NET Framework. But on the .NET Framework, it says it has partial trust. On the .NET Core, it doesn't have it, because it is not ported to .NET Core. I think it is a good thing, because it is more secure, because the partial trust means that you are opening some of the area, and then you will have a larger surface attack area. Then you have to be careful on your own. Okay. So unfortunately, since this is also has been there in .NET Framework, especially the use of the serializable attribute, or implementing serializable, that means that non-type must be specified upfront, meaning that you only provide the serializer only for the non-type, and you have to check for that type only. Otherwise, you should maybe throw exception or something else, or do nothing maybe, but I think do nothing means that you are not informing something. So I think the best practice is throwing exception instead of doing nothing. Instead of swallowing the exception and doing nothing. Okay, and now let's move to the .NET audit. I have sample .NET NuGet package here, and add NuGet package reference to log4net. I use version 209. The nice thing about this Visual Studio 2022 is you have a hint any of the package that is problematic in terms of security vulnerability. So in here, it is marked as vulnerability detected. And if you look on the list, it's also nicely being marked as vulnerability for those problematic NuGet package version. The latest one, of course, is not. But I think instead of using log4net, you can try to use the modern one such as Serilog, because here you don't have any good compatibility on .NET 5 or later, because here you can only ensure compatibility against .NET Standard for this version. And if you look at the latest version, it is better because you start from .NET 4.6.2, and then we have here .NET Standard, and there are no other kinds of parent dependency as well. It only has dependency to system.configuration.configuration manager. But in terms of .NET, since .NET 5 or later, it is still not enough because you need to have .NET Core. Yeah, but this is only for the sample use case. And if I compile this project here, you'll see that I got some warnings that says that log4net package has a known security vulnerability. Nice thing is package log4net 209. I think they should mention 209 as a version, but yeah, it's a minor it's a minor typo or maybe minor text clearance. The one that I have here is 9011 because you can see that I have global JSON set to 9011. The log4net that I use at 209 has many parent dependencies, and one of these may be unsecured. If you look at the project, by default, the NuGet audit mode in .NET 9011 is set to default. It means that only the direct package that's being explicitly included is the one that will be, reported like log4net 209. So if I uncomment this guy, you'll see that it will not reporting just log4net, but also the parent dependency as well. And we will have many reports, not just log4net, but also systemnet HTTP, and so on, such as system security cryptography X509 certificate, system tax regular expression. So this is the default behavior in 29100. Okay, I'm going to comment this just to prove you this is the basic behavior of 9011. Okay, and now I'm going to create a new folder sample .NET audit nuget in original net 9. I think I will just use small caps. Okay, now let's go to this folder. Sample. And let's use global JSON of 9.0.100. And I'm not going to use additional roll forward to to stamp only support this version. So for the new global JSON, I forgot the option. Oh, SDK version. But the new global JSON dash SDK dash version 9.0.100. So within this folder, I scope my .NET SDK to only use 9.0.100. Let's double check the content of this guy. Okay, we have nicely done 9.0.100. And I'm going to create a solution. .NET new SLN dash n sample. It's a long name, but I think it's a good thing. New console. I give a name. And then I add this guy. .NET SLN add sample. Oh, I should give the name of the solution. Sample. There you are. With .sln. Done. And I'm going to open this. Or maybe open a new Visual Studio session. Continue without this. Select weekly. Blast of samples. There you are. So one solution, one project, and now I'm going to add nuget package. Minus, yeah. Again, I'm going to add that unsecured log for net version to 09. Yeah. Which is the one that has the vulnerability. I'm going to install it. Apply, accept. It is done now. You see that it has a exclamation mark, meaning that this is problematic. Of course, I have to update it. Then I'm going to build this. Hang on. It should display all. Only display one. Okay. I'm going to clean solution. Uh, clean this project. Maybe I should try to compile on directly. I'm afraid that Visual Studio is forcing to use 9011. But let's see. That means that I'm going to use .NET restore first. .NET restore. Okay. No, I haven't. So this is using 90100. Now I have this one. Systemnet HTTP and system tag record expression, not just log4net. This proof that I have successfully demonstrated to you that the behavior of 9.0.100 and 9.0 and 1.1 is different in terms of restoring nuget package. It is by default using all like we see here, and on 9.0.101 is using direct. It means that only concerning these log4net nuget package only. So the correct way is only to you know compile using the command prompt. Again, we should go back to command prompt. They shown that. So now we have concluded that I have demonstrated to you these two notable changes that is also notable to me in terms of breaking change, of course, not just original changes. Changes can mean that new features coming, So let's say previously you can have only 10 features, now you have more than 12 features, or even just you have 15 features, meaning that there are also changes, of course. But again, this discussion of this video is only focusing on the breaking changes. That's done. And now the next one is the announcement. Announcement that, yeah, originally this weekly video series is focusing on 2024, and it may have additional week in the next year if some of the discussion are not yet fully finished or not yet fully answered. For example, I still need a way to ensure that the use of the SQL Server container on the previous two videos are using custom port instead of using default localhost for 1433. I can add additional port, but that only valid for the Aspire host session, which is something that I still don't know how to ensure that the container is always working. So just to have a quick recap here, I have Docker desktop. Why I'm insisting to find out the answer myself, because even some of the basic documentation are not fully are not fully described successfully. Like for example, if I really want to ensure that I want these Redis and Redis commander to be always persistent in terms of the lifetime, uh, I have to do it inside the with Redis, inside with the Redis commander, and so on so on as an option. And I could not get the actual symbol of this guy or instance of this guy outside of the Redis cache. I've already asked my MVP colleague and they currently have no clue. So unfortunately, right now I still have to stick with that kind of convention. I'm afraid. Let's try to run this guy only the SQL Server, right? Because I already set the volumes and some data are still there. It is persistent, of course. Now I will try to connect from my SQL Server Management Studio and see whether that 1500 are still open. So I'll just try to click connect. As we have seen on the previous video, I could not do this unless if I turn on the Aspire. Okay, looks like from the prolonged time to login, it seems I will get the failure again. Yep, this is the same error that I got from last videos. Cannot connect to 127.0.0.1.1500. And if I okay, if I let's say if I try to connect to this guy, of course it will fail because I have to supply the password, and I think I still could not connect to this guy. But this is to me it's not a major problem on the short term. Yeah, it's just a slightly different problem. Still cannot connect. And if I go to this guy, it is masked. I still have to run the Aspire host. Okay, fine. I will stop this container again. Let's see the log here. Recovery is complete. Okay, I'll stop this. Now you see that it's becoming uh, problematic, meaning that yeah, on your local, you have to ensure that Aspire, it always run. Otherwise, you cannot access this guy. You should be able to, but I don't know how. Honestly, or maybe let's try other thing before I'm going to announce about the epilogue of this series. Okay, run it. Optional setting, host port. Not, I'm going to use test SQL Server as the name of the container, and I'm going to use this port. Okay, hang on. Hmm, 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 hmm. What is the environment variable of this guy? Is there any kinds of environment variable? No. Okay, this will waste quite some time to really fix this. Which bring me the announcement. Okay, what I'm trying to say is I will have a different video series, not in the form of journey anymore because I think I have learned many precious things during the journey of going from 8 to 9, including having a full learning sessions on Aspire. Again, if you really want to leverage .NET Aspire, especially spawning up container like I have right now here, you are recommended to have at least 16 gigabytes of RAM or memory. Otherwise, there's no way that you can debug your app successfully. You will always get some situation, lots of paging going back and forth between Windows and the storage of your hard drive or whatever. So I suggest you to have at least 16 gigabyte of RAM. Okay, this is the announcement. First, I'm going to create a new two series. One will be dedicated for my Indonesian viewers, and it's already in production. I've already created some episodes, and unfortunately, I was planning to show you on last week, but I was busy doing my .NET Conf and so on, and I think it's nearing a holiday of this year. Therefore, I'm going to introduce for the next month in January. At the same time, I will also upload a new video series. It's more like a deep dive. I haven't decided exactly the format of what kind of deep dive, but I will discuss four big things in the initial deep dive. One is the continuation of discussion on .NET desktop client, particularly these WPF forms and hopefully Maui. The second topic will be again revisiting the .NET Aspire in a correct way by using the same repo that I did in this .NET Weekly. So I will also done reorganizing the PowerPoint slide that I have, and then I will also put the updates on the repo. Maybe I will add another repo because I'm going to focus only for discussing .NET Desktop Client on .NET 9, and also those additional bells and whistles. Maybe the sequence will be Aspire first because I'm still quite fresh using Aspire with all the problems that I have faced before. And then the desktop client, including Maui, because I already promised you to discuss Maui, but still have to fix some foundational problems such as how do I deal with the target framework, how do I deal with the SDK, and so on, so on, so on, and also how do I deal with the Visual Studio updates. And hopefully, this 17.12.3 is the version that I'm going to keep for a long time, at least until the end of the January, because if there is any more update, that will be slightly disrupting the schedule of these videos. So the .NET deep dive or deeper dive, or maybe more like a focus deep dive. Of course, it will be weekly, and the Indonesian videos hopefully will be weekly. There is also another series, more like discussing the gotchas, and also bring the previous videos gotchas to my series. But this series, since it is more detailed and maybe will contain more like a proof of samples using benchmark.net, so it will be about 2 to 3 weeks the frequency. So maybe bi-weekly or maybe just monthly. I don't know, because looks like on next year I will have a lots of work on my own. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And then that concludes this video. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will also, hopefully, if I still have some time, I will also try to upload, hopefully, yeah, that Indonesian version But again, the last week of December, I will not have any new upload because I'm going to enjoy my holiday. Don't forget to like and subscribe as always, and don't forget to enjoy your life. I know that I may have a more like a life instead of work due to my freelance, but some of you may be different. I understand that. Just keep coding and also keep your hopes high because I believe that the tech winter is slowly, you know, decreasing or maybe it's thawing, not frozen anymore. But please let me know if you have a different situation or thing because I'm welcome to have a discussion on .NET and also related careers on .NET or especially job opening in .NET. And just to inform you, this is not a kind of clickbait, but we in Indonesia have a quite a bit sad fact because any kinds of job opening that relate to .NET, either .NET software engineer or .NET web engineer or full stack .NET, they usually are not many compared to other kinds of platforms such as Java, Go, or something else, or maybe Node or other kinds of a little bit smaller use base such as PHP. I'm saying use base doesn't mean that the company that use PHP are not that many. They are many, but the actual pool of the software engineer may not that kind of many compared to if you look for .NET engineer or Java engineer or right now we have Go, Node, TypeScript, JavaScript, and something in between. Like some engineers has you know can do more than one. Like they can do Java and JavaScript. In the same person on the same person. So more like a full stack. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm not a fully full stack engineer, although I understand JavaScript. But I also have experience on using the work that already done in JavaScript community, such as Bootstrap, React, and so on. So I think it's okay to have that kind of situation, or it's also okay if you are focusing on backend. That is my end of year message. That is also my end of year experience as well. So don't forget to like and subscribe and see you on my other videos and also see you next year. Happy end of year holiday. Also, I think it's time for me to say maybe it's a little bit too early, but happy season greetings. Merry Christmas if you celebrate that. I'll see you next year. Bye bye.